Hey everybody, Mr. Wallowitz here. I want to talk about a Declaration of Independence that isn't spoken of enough. It is about how regular people in Western Massachusetts threw out British control without firing a single shot. This is the first Declaration of Independence. Background to Revolution. In the late spring of 1774, Great Britain took away the Massachusetts Charter of 1691 as a response to the Boston Tea Party. That charter allowed colonists to participate in their own government, and after Great Britain took the charter away, the king would appoint people to serve in the government of Massachusetts. So, for almost 100 years, Great Britain, or I'm sorry, the colony of Massachusetts was allowed to um, practice or institute the government that they felt was best for them, and the people would have a voice in that government and would make laws and policy based on what was best for that colony at that time without any interference from Great Britain. After the Boston Tea Party, however, Great Britain passes a series of laws known in America as the Intolerable Acts, and a part of that was to remove the Massachusetts Charter and implement their own people to run the government. So the people of the colony of Massachusetts no longer had any say in how the government was run. Here is a chart of the intolerable acts with the Boston Port Act, the Massachusetts Government Act, Administration of Justice Act, Quartering Act, and Quebec Act. These were implemented after the Boston Tea Party to punish the colony of Massachusetts for what happened. Here we have the provisions and the effect. When this Google Slides is posted to Google Classroom, please take the time to review this chart. Colonial Response. The courts of Massachusetts was where government action took place. On September 6, 1744, thousands of militia from 37 towns in Worcester County took to the streets to prevent the courts from operating. Not only did the people in Worcester prevent the courts from opening, they forced the British officials to resign their posts. The British officials recited their resignation to all 4,622 militiamen who lined the streets. They did that so that every single person present could hear their resignation. Without being able to govern themselves, the people of Western Massachusetts decided to take action themselves. They were upset that the actions in Boston affected the entire colony. So, they peacefully prevented the courts from operating and forced the resignation of those appointed officials, again, without firing a single shot. The first Declaration of Independence. The people demanded that the Massachusetts Charter of 1691 be restored. On October 4, 1774, at a town hall meeting in Worcester, the people declared that British rule was over and formed their own government to replace it. The people of Worcester sent word to the Continental Congress in Philadelphia that they wanted their support in this independence. In an attempt to gain back control over Massachusetts, Great Britain then sent troops to Concord to capture military supplies. So the people of Western Massachusetts made their demands known, not just to Great Britain, as they expelled, really, the British officials from the government courts. They then instituted their own form of government back again, where they did participate in town hall meetings. And as a result of these town hall meetings, they sent word back to Philadelphia to tell the Continental Congress what happened and that they were all in for independence. And it was the people of Worcester, Mass, who were the driving force of getting the Continental Congress to move toward independence rather than seeking reconciliation. And it was because of the actions of those in Worcester that led to the British troops marching toward Concord to capture military supplies that led to the first battle of the American Revolutionary War. Now, when we learned about the Battle of Lexington, and we did talk about how the British were looking to seize the military supplies in Concord, it wasn't because of any action that was taking place in Boston. It had everything to do with the people of Worcester ousting the British-controlled government peacefully. So they sent troops to Concord to capture these military supplies as a way to try to gain back control over the colony. And they were met with a violent resistance in Lexington. The American story. So, how do these events differ from the story that makes up the American Revolution? Our history could have been a lot different if the rest of the colonies acted the way that those in Worcester did. The people of Massachusetts far outnumbered the British troops and the British officials. So there's nobody saying that this could not have happened in Boston. It certainly could have. I mean, the driving force of this independence movement in Worcester were a lot different than those who were leading the independence movement in Boston. In Worcester, we have more working class people as the driving force in this revolution, in this independence movement, where in Boston we have the upper class elite as the driving force. But this story in Western Massachusetts, in Worcester County, is not nearly as exciting as war or violence. And it's mostly for that reason that the story that we know of the revolution survives, and that this one is very rarely ever told. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in class. Bye-bye for now.